Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Bitcoin report for Wednesday, November 10, 21. So Bitcoin making new highs. That's fantastic. I just thought we'd have a look at the yearly chart here. What we can see quite clearly is we can see that we're in a trend, because a trend needs increasing volume. I know that's basic, but it's nice. It's nice to confirm that, and the volume confirms the price action. So we can see here that last year we had this much volume, and then this year we've got increased volume, and we've got another bar here. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next year. Even if we came down next year, that would be okay if the volume was also lower than the previous bar. So this has been sold off here, for example, so it's lower than this volume bar. So we need increasing volume. And of course, you know, Bitcoin's out of the bag and everybody's rushing into it. So yeah, I mean, there's a good possibility that this increased volume can continue. You know, obviously, people have got price projections that are, you know, way past the moon, so to speak. And yeah, I think that's sort of interesting. As I've mentioned before, the value of capital in the CDS market, credit default swap, is around the 130. So that's up here. I don't see any sort of problem now that we've sort of got 50,000. I don't see any problem getting to 100,000 in that case. But anyway, there we go. I just thought that was a bit interesting. Let's cruise into the daily chart. We don't need all of this. Well, we can see that the stochastics has still got a bit more, because normally when you take out a top, right, then it will flatline. Like, see, that's flatlined here. That's with indicator, because it's basically just taken out the previous top here. So you need to go to the next degree of structure to the upside. But we don't need to look at that. Okay, so right, this is where we are at the moment. So we're calling this wave 4 here, which I'm not that happy about, because really, when you look at I try to be conservative all the time, but you know, when we take this low here to this high here, we can see that the market's pulled back to the 61.8%. So it's logical to call that wave 2, isn't it? You know, because if it pulled back 40%, we'd go, okay, well, maybe it's a wave 4 then. So we could look at it like that. And that's the same with this situation here, really. You know, it's say down here somewhere. I won't be able to do it exactly, but you know, to call that it's also pull back right onto the 61.8%. We could drop it down to this point here a little bit. We could do that, and we should do that. So we can drop it down to that wave structure there, but it's still very close to the 61.8%. So why do we call this wave 4 then? You know, we could call that wave 2. If we call that wave 2, then we'd be into a massive third wave to the upside at that point, wouldn't we? I mean, that would be logical to do that, because we've got this one as 1 and 2, it's pulled back 61.8%. You know, people have got this as wave 4 here, and I've always sort of scratched my head about that, because using log scale to get your 38.2% retracement level doesn't really ring that well for me. Where have I got that? I think it's, just bear with me a sec. This would be the other count here. I still need to do work on all the, I haven't seen a count that I actually like yet going back to 2011. So I mentioned that I will do that, and I will do that. And yeah, it'd be a case of 10 Elliott people with 10 different counts. So if this is pulled back 61.8%, well, we can put that there as wave 2. You know, we did look at that in the early days as well, but the reason I don't really bring it out for, because you know, this count takes me up to it takes me up to 300,000, this count. So it's pretty wild. But anyway, I just normally keep it in the background. But if this is wave 1 and this is wave 2 here, and then wave 1 and 2 here, and then the third wave will be up at around the 100,000, and what we've been looking for so far here is just looking for wave 1 up here, by the way. Wave 2, wave 3 will be even longer, I guess, you know, wave 4 and wave 5 here, then a wave 4 for this wave 4, and then up for wave 5 just for the third wave at that point, then a bounce back into the 100 at that point, and then up into the next structure. So that's all possible. I mean, will it happen? I mean, well, I don't know. I mean, but that's an Elliott count, and I don't think anybody can really plug holes in it. I mean, when you go back and look at Apple and all those guys when they were young, you know, it's all the same thing, going up to, you know, $1 or $100 or $10, whatever, you know. I'd call it trading level 1. It's not a big deal, so to speak. But anyway, we don't need to go into that today. We got other issues at hand, but always nice to shoot the breeze and get excited about things. So anyway, back here, back to our wave 4 here, the most conservative count we can, then wave 1 and wave 2 here. And then we've been counting up for wave 1 here. And as I mentioned before too, this wave 1 that we've been looking at from this here, the US stocks and Bitcoin, I think, will basically, the S&P 500, the NASI and Microsoft and yada, 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 will all pull back for wave 2s, I think, and Bitcoin may do that as well. We'll see. It'll be interesting anyway, if you're following indices wave counts. So we've been looking at this as 1 and 2 here, very just simply 3 and 4 here, and then looking up for wave 5. So as far as I can see so far, we're either at the top or very close to it in this regard. Can it move up further? Yeah, sure it can, and we're going to be looking at that today as well. But the takeaway here is that this wave 1 and 2 pull back 61.8%. So that means, well, why can't this one do that when it's there at, say, 68, pulling back into this space? So it's possible. So that's what we've had on the table, and we'll leave that there for a while. Now, when we look at Ethereum and other indices and everything, then we can put wave 4 over here for that. But this one here hasn't really given us an impulse sort of movement in here. I kind of would like to leave this here where it is actually, and look at this as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, but it doesn't count very well in that regard. It counts okay over here for a WXY as well. I mean, I could see it as an A and a B and a C, but the problem with putting wave 4 over here, it doesn't really match up with the which any index that you look at, or Ethereum as well. They're all over here for this. So you'd got to wonder, can we squeeze that in as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, or even up for 1 here and back for 2 and something or other. So that's on our mind. But yeah, let's just continue to cruise in and chat about it all. So yeah, this is the safe Elliott count with 3 wave price action here, 3 wave price action here, and then you can count this. Also, it's got overlapping wave structures, so you can put it down as a Y. So it's quite suitable here for this, and it'll just be quite natural to do that at this point. But I don't particularly like this because it doesn't tune in with the other markets. The other markets have got this over here. And then I think to myself, can this be 1 and 2 in here and 1 and 2 in here? I know that doesn't count very well, but I like to look at things outside the box a little bit. But anyway, our job this week or the last few days or whatever has just really been counting this up through here. So as you can see, there's a nice impulse wave. There was a couple of targets we were looking up here at 66,500 and 68,000 in there as well. So 8's a profit-taking number, so it's only natural to see the bids get hit at that point there. Is that the top? Probably not. I don't really see a nice impulse wave to the downside for that at the moment, but we'll go in and have a bit of a look at that as well. The other point here too with this is that it's the classic trading levels pattern as well for all of this. So at the 65,000, this 65,000 here, we've had, this is the pattern that I've been looking for, the arrival, the reaction, which we've got this one, and then we're looking for the first high above the level. So we've got this one here. My problem is that we don't really know how to count this down here correctly, so that it makes it difficult for me to find the high here. So I need to be a little bit patient to see if it does roll over from here, or we go up a little bit further in all of that. And we'll be looking at that and comparing that with the other crypto indices and also Ethereum as well. But this was the natural pattern, and I still want to stay with this pattern here. It will keep me grounded. It's just that I can't really pick the high here because I don't understand the pattern down here. So, but the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, the ABC correction, pullback for wave 2, then back over 65, and then heading off at that point. So, with that in mind, as I mentioned, all the other ones were down here for this. So, when we look at, is Ethereum here? Yeah, so this is Ethereum. So we've got this nice ABC pattern here for Ethereum, right? And then we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So we've already got 5 waves up there. But in this case, with Bitcoin here coming onto, if I put it here, I can't get 5 waves out of this, and do I put that over here and just call it those 5 waves, and that's how they tune into each other and top at the same time, so to speak? Or do we need to use this as 1 here and up for 1 here, and I think it's up for 1 and back for 2 and up for 1 and back for 2, but it's a long shot on that. But anyway, sticking with this here and just having a look at Ethereum again here. The trouble with Ethereum here as well, we've got wave 4 here, that's good, and wave 1 is good, and wave 2 is good. Wave 3 is okay, but wave 4 here overlaps wave 1. So that goes, oh, rightio. So that's not going to be the right count then, is it? Because it's overlapping, technically speaking. So that means that, well, do we put wave 3 up here and put wave 1 over here and put wave 2 here? And when this thing finishes here for wave 3, 4 and 5 here, then that will give us wave 3 over here. Then we go for wave 4 here, and then this little wave 5 goes over here. So is that going to extend out this far? And what does that mean for Bitcoin at that point, I mean, 5 is the second strongest number in the market. So at that 5,000, we definitely should see some sort of classic trading levels pattern across that level there. If we had, if the market had already been up here and we've had a big accumulation process going sideways below this number, well, then we would just sort of plow through it. But that's not the case. We're arriving here for the first time. So it looks like we've got wave 1 in here, and 2 here, and 3 here, and 4 here, and 5 to finish that leg off. And then there'll be wave 4 probably, and wave 5, and then wave 4 and wave 5. And then we'll have some sort of classic trading levels pattern sitting on this level up here. And we can look to go long over this side, or we can work it, once we've got this here, we can work it again from the upside. But yeah, so that's sort of where we are. I mean, I like this count, and I like it too, because if I take this count here and place it with this crypto index here, which is the top 10 here, then looking at this as wave 3 and 4 here, which is very definite here, isn't it? Ethereum didn't come this far down. Bitcoin sort of did. Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin did that. So, I mean, if I push this across, it's just good to compare them, and just, we're just shooting the breeze here with all of this, and it's just sort of entertainment in a way. So wave 3 and ABC for wave 4, and ABC here for wave 4. I mean, that's what I would do. And just because this is really messy, we can't get ahead, we know that somebody's sucking the liquidity out of the market at that point. So yeah, I just think this is probably better off labeled wave 1 here, and just borrow this one over here. Wave 2 here, the same as this is wave 1 and 2 here. and then I would remove this one here, and then I would start building the case for the next move to the upside with wave 1 here and wave 2 here. And then this would start bringing it in with Bitcoin at this point, with Ethereum at this point. And then we would put wave 3 up here, if I can just take a bit of liberty here, and wave 4 here, and then go up for wave 5, which is kind of what this is doing. And also this would be the same count as Ethereum in this case, tuning them in together here, you know. So that means that we can remove these. I'll just move that up to there somewhere. Sorry, just get act together here a little bit. Wave 5 here, that will become wave 3 there, that will become wave 4 there, and we can bring this across over here somewhere, and we can work that a little bit later on. But this 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here would suit this 1 and 2, 1 and 2 here, and that would tune them all in, because this one's moving along quite nicely here, this one's moving, like they're all tuned in, so they're all going to be doing the same thing at some point. So I think that's the, I think it's a bit difficult for Elliott traders to do something like this. I can do it because I'm old and crusty, you know, and I've been around the block a bit, so I can bring all the markets, all the relative things together and work it like that. Now, am I right? Well, I don't know. I feel all right about what I'm doing here with this. So yeah. So that's a real possibility at this point. So with this little trend. Don't need that one, don't need that one. So I think that we'll just run a few counts as we have been doing. Yeah, so this one here is not quite finished yet. I'll just go to the tick chart here, 100 ticks, I think, just in this little section here. I'll bring in some more data, bring this back in over here. So this is the little run to the upside here. So we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here. Okay, I haven't done that down there yet, but this is how I've counted this here. So we'll just see. So from the top in Bitcoin here, we can look at this as 5 waves down here. It is 5 waves. Then we got this. I could look at this as a B wave, and then 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 and 2 and 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the third wave, fourth wave, that counts up as an ABC. I've done that, and wave 5 here. So this could be wave 1 here and wave 2 here, moving to the upside. So we'll see if it moves to the upside. Well, then that's fantastic. We'll know that we're still in the trend, and we're in the trend at that point, you know. So we'll just see. It looks like a little A, B, C back to the 61.8% mark. And if it comes down, well, then we'll look at the top being in play. Simple as that. So the market won't, just to help you confirm that, if that's it here, that's the 61.8% there. So any move above that top there, and you know that the trend is continuing, and anything that drops down below here, well, in fact, this wave 4 here can actually come back to the 65 there, because that's the wave 4. Not only that, it's also the 38.2% retracement level as well. So while the market's above the 65, then the markets can be bullish at that point. It remains bullish. It's possible to have, as I mentioned here before, wave 3 over here for Bitcoin, WXY for wave 4, and then up for wave 5 and have a top in play. That's possible. If it drops below the 65, then that's the case. If it doesn't drop there and it continues to move up, then we're going to take the template of Ethereum's count here. And yes, Ethereum can have a top in either here or here, depending on how you count that up there. And that would be from wave 4 as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, finished, done, over, yada, yada, yada. However, because this move here overlaps the top here as it does, then it's not the right way to count it. So 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here. and we're coming up to the 5,000. So that's my 2 cents worth, guys. Yeah. So it appears to me that the trend for Ethereum is still going along, and I think that for Bitcoin we can take that trend on and move up higher at this point. We just need to see. So that little line here is the 38.2% retracement level, so it can move back to that point. But we don't want to see it. We don't want to see it move past that point. I mean, if the market comes through here, then you know that we're starting wave 2 at that point. The ABC for wave 2. Alrighty, it's that simple, really. So the 65 at this stage is the line in the sand. Above it, we're bullish. Below it, we're in corrective mode. But that said, Ethereum and the index there appears to suggest further upside. But let's just see what comes. And yeah, that's it. Alrighty, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.